And there's 10 very common traumas that I'll be glad to tell your
Yes.
audience so that they understand. Oh, first they say, I didn't have any traumas. Then they
Right.
hear the list and it's like, well, wait, I had 6 or 7.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning back into Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. Today is our expert segment, and I'm so happy to introduce you to Riana Milne today. Riana, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Silka, for having me. Hi, everyone.
Riana has a very impressive and very long bio, which will fill you in throughout the show. But by way of introduction, I just want to say that Riana is a certified love, life, and relationship coach. She's a certified mental health counselor. She specializes in addiction and trauma. And she's the best-selling author of Love Beyond Your Dreams, which deals with ridding yourself of the toxic behaviors in a relationship, correct?
Well, there's 4 sections in it, but that is one of the major sections, yes.
Well, and that's, of course, what we're here to talk about today is,
Yes.
as you know, on Second Act TV, we focus, our focus is towards the over 50 crowd, those of us in our middle.
Which I qualify.
Yeah, oh, yeah, me too, way over.
By about 10 years, yes.
And we deal with a lot of the relationship issues. Gray divorce is a huge issue, and there's lots of us, as I did, starting over again after 50. So before we get into how you deal with that, give us your background, how you got into this, and what you believe.
Sure. Well, I always had the passion to want to help people. That's just my gift. And I became the typical licensed mental health counselor, and I've been doing that 18 years at my company, Therapy by the Sea. And in 2009 and 10, I just wanted more contact with my clients. That once a week, 45-minute traditional model just was not right, So I went to RCI, Relationship Coaching Institute, and certified for over 2.5 years in life and love coaching for singles and for couples. And I said, I love this. I'm going to do this full force. I'm going to do it globally. So the mindset was there. Now I just had to do the work.
Yeah.
So it started with my first book, Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. So because I work with a lot of mindset, especially for those ladies over 50 that feel burnt out from a long-term marriage that didn't work. Their self-esteem has been suffering, their self-worth. They have to go out in the career world. Maybe they haven't been there for a while. So Live is very often my journey of struggle and transition. And what was the mindset I had, which is called the Watch Me attitude for personal success. And you say it within your head, but there's all this other stuff that goes into mindset work. So the Watch Me mindset is something that somebody thinks about whenever they're going through a difficult transition. And most human beings, 8 out of 10 people, have a negative mindset. And that's from childhood conditioning, which is our topic today. And the mindset that I use is very important to get people to feel amazing about their life. And they have to feel great about themselves before they go out and date to meet someone fantastic as well. Like attracts like, right? The law of attraction. You have to be what you want to attract.
We're big believers in that here. I
Yes.
wanted to tell you, your whole your approach, Paige loves it. And the spirituality,
very spiritually
the
based.
spirituality that you bring to it. But I digress. I'll let you continue.
Okay. No, that's okay. I mean, because you have to have some sort of faith. I don't care what religion it is, even if it's just a higher power or whatever it is within yourself. It's a faith within yourself, your best self, which we call your God self. To have this sense of faith and knowing that when you proceed, into your future, you do it with a level of confidence. So you want that level of confidence before you even go out to date, because people can feel that in your aura or your energy. So
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that I don't think we realize how much our childhood experiences, and I say experience because a lot of us don't think that we were traumatized.
exactly. Because they hear trauma and they think, post-traumatic stress disorder
Right.
from our soldiers, right? This is the term we even heard in my triple master's in psychology. None of this was taught to me in my school. I had to go research this when a personal situation happened to me. But the thing is, you call them experiences, which is correct. It's adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. And there's 10 very common traumas that I'll be glad to tell your audience so that they understand. Oh, first they say, I didn't have any traumas. Then they
Right.
hear the list and it's like, well, wait, I had 6 or 7. So the 10 traumas are the first one. If now remember, when this has occurred for you, you're very young, you're very innocent, and over time it just becomes your normal. So what's happening to you becomes very suppressed, very normalized, very subconscious or unconscious when it comes out as an adult. Okay, so here's a 10. When you grew up, you had a parent that had an addiction. So it could be drugs, alcohol, sex, porn, hoarding, smoking, gaming, gambling, shopping, eating. So even the uncommon addictions, okay, where that became more important than spending time with you. Second, if you witnessed or received verbal abuse of any kind, put down, sarcasm, okay, or you witnessed mom and dad fighting all the time.
Well,
Next one
who
is
doesn't do that? Yeah, who doesn't have that? Well, mom and dad anyway.
I got you on one. Okay. Next one's emotional abuse or neglect. Now think of all the moms that are at work all the times and dads that have to put a lot of hours into work. They don't mean to neglect their children. They're trying to support their children. So this has become very common. The next one is sexual abuse, rape, or molestation. That's either within the home or occurred in your life as a young person, all the way up to the age of 21. Next one is abandonment, fault or no fault. And this one's very common too. And no fault abandonment is if a parent died early, if a parent has to travel a lot for work, if a parent has to go off to serve our country at war. Those are all times of abandonment, but no fault. Okay, a fault abandonment is like during a divorce situation and a parent promises to see their child, but they don't come back as promised, or it's not as often, and that child just doesn't have them 24/7 like they're used to. The next one is if a parent couldn't care for a child for a period of time. They're at grandma's house, aunt, uncles, foster care, or they were adopted.
Mm.
Next one, and this one's very common, number 7, is personal trauma. The number 1 on the list would be bullying. If you were bullied, that was a big one for me. The personal trauma also includes, remember, feeling different. So if you're overweight as a child, or me, I was very skinny with big glasses and I got teased for that. Medical condition when you were a child, moving a lot when you were a child, so you had to keep making friends. So anything personally that happened to you. The next one, sibling trauma. Let's say you had the sibling that was the golden child. I had 2 and I was born in between them.
Oh,
My 2 brothers.
well,
Yes.
you excelled as a middle child.
Well, I adored my brothers, always have, always will, but my mom kind of favored them, and I believe psychologically because dad wasn't home. They were the males in the house. So, and then I had 2 older sisters. But, my brothers could do no wrong. And I was the one that was told, yeah, I wanted another son, but then you came along. So I was like, oh, thanks, mom. Okay, so the golden child, or siblings might have teased you, or they might have had a complication like an addiction, or born with a problem. The next one would be family trauma. Now, this is becoming so common. Think of all the people displaced by flood, fire, mortgage loss, mortgage crises, loss of home, okay, moving a lot. So all this insecurity that is of no fault to the parents still occurred to these children. And then an incarceration of a parent, that could be one. And then the last one is mental health issues within mom or dad. The most common, that could be severe or borderline personality disorder, bipolar, and then you have something like narcissistic. And there's a list of about 14 that are mentioned in Love Beyond Your Dreams, my other book. So those are the personality types that if you've grown up with, you may have adapted because that was your normal.
Yeah.
So, and that tends to wreak a lot of havoc on love if there's mental health issues.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, how everybody, like you said, in what I think in one of your articles too, 9 out of 10 people have at least something on that list, and
Yes.
it's scary how that manifests in, or enlightening, I should say, how that manifests into our adult life. And that's what we want to talk to you about in our next segment. We're coming to an end of our time here. So thank you for explaining that. We will come back and discuss why, you start a relationship. How does this toxicity manifest? And, what can we do about it? So we will link to all of your information, Riana, in our video description. So if you want to contact Riana directly, you can do so. She'll also have a page on our website. And we look forward to seeing you on our next segment on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you haven't already done so, please just take 1 second and subscribe to our channel. Button's right over here. And for more videos on finding love after 50, please visit our website, secondact.tv. And we'll see you soon on another episode of Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. Thank you.